Hey there, Stampers, and welcome to another Step It Up video. The card that I'm making this week, this is the step 1. I'm using the new designer series paper Spice Cake. And I'm using Faith in Nature Hostess Set, the Sentiment, and Growing Green Flowers, these images. Okay, so let me show you. This is step 1, step 2, and step 3. And I don't know if you can see on step 3, I kind of went crazy and I used a lot of smooch spritz on here, but it softens everything a little bit. And I did a couple different things. Let me go ahead and show you what I did. So we're going to start with a crumb cake base, my favorite go-to piece. And this is the spice cake, and you can see, I don't know if you played with this paper or looked at it, this very much looks autumnal, but you switch it over and it's got these great greens, and I'm a big fan of green. Green's my favorite color. So whenever I get a new designer series paper, I take it out and I flip over every other page so that I can see all the images at one time, and then I start sorting it with stripes and patterns and according to colors, so that I don't get stuck only using it for, you know, Christmas or autumn or whatever. So try to use it for a lot of different things. Anyway, so step 1 is pretty simple. You're going to take these strips of paper, stripes on one side, pattern on the other, adhere it down. I have a circle in crumb cake and a circle in very vanilla. You're going to stamp your sentiment. Remember, this is from the Faith in Nature, and I'm using Early Espresso ink, and you're just going to center it on your circle and give it a good push. Easy as that. And that's what we're going to use for the entire 3-step cards, all of this, just like so. So you'll adhere the pieces down and put it down, your circle. And now for the flowers. This is what I want to show you. On the step 1 and step 2, I used watercolor paper, and I want to show you what that looks like. And on step 3, I actually used very vanilla cardstock. It didn't turn out, first I tried with a blender pen. I didn't like the way it looked, so then I went back to my aqua painter and painted with aqua painter, and then I covered step 3 in smooch spritz. But let me show you. I think going back, I would continue to use the watercolor paper. So this one I have pre-done, and I'm going to wet my aqua painter. I always use a dry aqua painter brush, so there's no water in the barrel. And I use a little medicine cup with water, and it helps me control how much water is in the tip and how much water I want on my image. So when I first start, I really push the water into the brushes, but also squeeze it out. And then I'm using a palette. I just use the brush end of the marker, lay down some color, and then you can start. I just like the way the watercolor paper really allows you some control. And then if you want to come back in and add another layer of color, it doesn't pill up as much at all compared to the regular paper. So then I cut them out, and let me show you this really quickly as well. You can do it on Whisper White and Very Vanilla. You just have to be a little more careful. So you come in and you start laying down your color, and it also allows you to blend. You just have to be a little more careful about it. It shows a little bit more. And you would let it dry. So I would probably come over here so it's not touching, just let it dry. And once it's dry, you can go back in and do the other ones. So you can see it's a good choice too, and it actually shows the gradation really nice because it's so smooth. Anyway, so that's how I did it, and I just added a little crumb cake to the center of the flowers. So you're going to go ahead and put this down. You're going to position your flowers, 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and that's your step 1 card. Easy peasy. Your step 2 card, only has slight addition with a very vanilla matte. And then your papers will go right here. And then I use the eyelet border punch to add another little detail in between. And you would just adhere this down and snip it, and then layer it over the stripe. And then again, you just layer your sentiment on the crumb cake, and then cut out and position your flowers. 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and as easy as that, you have this step 2. I really like this one a lot. I like how vibrant the greens are. Step 3 is much the same, except for the details. So on this one, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, I used my matte pack and a paper piercing tool, and these small holes, I lined it up. I have the very vanilla matte, so I adhered everything down, except not on the card base. So this was up, and then I used my matte pack to make this detail all the way around the perimeter of the very vanilla pieces right there. And then you can't see it, but I also went down following the line of the eyelet border punch. And then I did all the way around the crumb cake mat. And I want to show you that very quickly. And how I do that is I put this down just a bit so I have an idea where I'm looking for some adhesive. I'm getting ready to go on retreat, and actually when this airs, I'll be on retreat. I'm in the middle of packing. Anyway, I'll put a little piece of adhesives, tiny that I can remove, just so I get an idea of where the hole should go. And then I will just start in one position that I think is centered. And then, let me see if I can angle this better. I hold the paper piercing tool in place, and then I line up this second hole where I think it should be centered wise. And I usually work towards me instead of away from me, but I think it'll be easier for the camera to pick up. So then I hold it and I gently move the next hole to where I want it. And I do this for the entire circle. Hold and move. And then adjust. So there's nothing scientific, it's eyeballing. But you can see it works. And then you'll get that detail all the way around the card. And then the last thing I did was I added strips of crumb cake taffeta ribbon around the very vanilla and the printed paper. I added a bow, like so. I assembled this, and then I took my smooch spritz and sprayed it all up. So, and I did pop this one up on dimensionals. The others are not popped up, but and I popped this one and this one up on dimensionals too for added detail. So I hope this has been helpful. Let me show you the 3 cards again. They're all very easy, and I really love this color combination, and the sentiment is lovely too. So here's step 1, step 2, and step 3. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.